And for people that don't know where you're at, you're in Philadelphia. I don't know how do you describe the area that you're in?
Yeah, it is the wealthiest area in Pennsylvania. It's called the Main Line, and I'm very lucky to be there. I was searching all around Philadelphia because I knew I had to be around a city to work on exotic pets. And, so today my practice is 50% exotics and 50% dog and cat. But I knew I needed to be around the city. And it just so happened that the Main Line, this particular practice opened up. And it was a small practice when I bought it.
Yeah. When you say small, what do you mean?
It was like 1.5 doctors.
Mm-hmm.
There was a full-time associate, and then the doctor that was there was limited for quite some time before the sale, just because of some health issues.
Yeah. When did you get to the point where you're like, I gotta like run this thing like a business, and that means that I have to start hiring a lot of other people to do this?
Long before I bought the practice.
It was always in you?
Yeah. So it's always funny. I like this story. When I was 11, I had a paper route, and other kids around me were then getting rid of their paper routes, and I absorbed all of those, and then I would hire my friends to go and work the paper routes. So it's I was always a big fan of delegation, which is something that I do give lectures on, and I can spend hours talking about it. But weirdly enough, it was right from jump there. It was like, okay, you're delegating right away.
You never had a problem with that, did you?
No, because I could see the potential with it. Again, even way back then, I was like, well, I could be doing this, and that other person could be doing that. And now 2 things are getting done as opposed to just one. And it does require, proper, right? Like now we talk about it in a different level from a paper route level. It requires proper training. And the part that everybody always forgets about delegation is that you do have to check in at the end of whatever was delegated to make sure that everything went well and that there's no feedback or anything that went wrong, that you can help guide that person through for the next time. That's the part that's always missed. Give them the job.
Yeah,
absolutely, but then you have to follow through anyway. So it seems like it takes a little bit more work, but shortly after you start delegating, you realize you're like, wow, that's making my life easier. A little painful at first because you're talking a lot, training a lot, but then it gets so much better and actually quicker than you think.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and obviously you got to give them some guidance, some training, a description of what they're going to be doing. And I really do like that. I think you're right. You got to follow through and make sure that they're getting the end result that is required, so that you can feel good about letting go. Because that seems to be what we hear all the time for a lot of the practice owners is like, well, I hire people, I try to get them to do something, and then they mess it up.
Yeah.
And then of course now they're like, they got back off on delegating anymore.
Right. They take that experience and use it as the norm when they could very well change that experience by following through and then having a wonderfully productive, 5-10 minute meeting on it and go, let me empower you and let's try it again.
Yeah.
And that really helps quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. And then I remember you said something to me one time where we were talking about, like what happens when you decide to sell, which I know, I'll keep that private, but let's just say that, I mean, at some point you are going to sell. Everyone's going to sell their business, but you had said, I don't have any problem taking orders from someone else.
That's right. Just tell me what to do.
I was like, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because most people are like, shit, I've been doing this for, 25 years. And, I think I'm more with you on that, because people will always be, well, I'm the boss and, I'm the one that tells people what to do. And I don't ever want to be told what to do ever again. And I'm like, that's kind of the wrong flow, because I've just learned in life that you got to be willing to give orders. You got to be willing to take orders, because there's always a bigger bear.
That's right.
You know,
and I have another job, oddly enough, teaching at at Penn Vet, and frankly, I'll have input, of course, but they know much more about the scope of things than I do.
Yeah.
And they tell me what to do. Like there's a point where I'm like, yeah, just tell me what you need me to do. I'm happy to help in whatever way that is. But that is an important part of letting go, of course.
Yeah, it is. I think
that.
more people need to like be able to get off their resistance of being told what to do, and just be able to like say, I may like giving orders more. I'm sure, everyone does, but you got to be willing to accept them as well.
Sure.
And be controlled a little bit